All right, we're just going to go down to one of my local spots where I do a bit of bird photography, see if I can find some osprey and stuff. And I'm testing out the newer 6-inch camera suction cup mount, which so far seems to be going okay. I've got my Joby GorillaPod phone mount on it, which is a bit jittery and shaky, but we'll see how it goes. Just got to experiment. I just changed that over because it's got a cold shoe mount on the top for my microphone, and I just wanted to have that on there secure so it's not dangling and flopping about and making noises and such. So where I'm going is a place called At Me Now Headland, which is a beautiful, massive, grassy headland with rocky cliff edges at a place called Emerald Beach, about 5 minutes south of where I live. So it's really easily accessible, and I like to go there a lot because the headland is packed with kangaroos. A lot of the time the kangaroos hang out there in large groups. There's little joeys at certain times of the year, and there are Australian pipits, little brown birds that hop about on the grass and forage about for bugs and grubs and things. There's often some magpies there. You'll see pied cormorants fly past. Sometimes there'll be a white-bellied sea eagle or a Brahminy kite or an osprey. There's crested terns that will fly past the headland and will hunt off the headland. Often small flocks of pied cormorants will perch on the rocks at the end of the headland. It's a beautiful place. You can look to the north, you can see Emerald Beach headland, and to the south you look down to a long, beautiful beach that goes down to Mooney Beach, and it's just a beautiful part of the world. And I've spent many hours there getting some great photos of birds and things. So I just thought I'd go out today and have a bit of a day out, get out in the fresh air, get away from the computer for a while, and just snap off some shots. So I'm just coming up to Emerald Beach now. This is a beautiful little seaside town where we spent a bit of time when we first moved up here. It's got a very pretty beach, and the town's got some nice cafes and restaurants. There used to be a really nice Mexican place in the main street here called La Hacienda 101. It's now moved into Woolgoolga, which is north of us, but it's still only 5 minutes drive, so they make the best authentic Mexican food. It's so good. I have to remember which street to go up here because I always get confused, because there's Bluff Road, which I assume goes to the bluff, but it doesn't actually go there. I have to go into Damerel Crescent. That is the one that we need. Takes us up around the top and down into the At Me Now Headland car park. And we'll see what birds we can find today. So I'm using my Sony a6400 and the Sony 200 to 600mm G OSS Lens. I can't remember the aperture range on that. I think it's 6.3 to f5.6 to 6.3, I think it might be. It's a great lens, absolutely fantastic, super sharp, focuses quickly, is not too heavy, has internal zoom so it doesn't get bigger because it's quite big already. And I absolutely love the lens. I've got some great photos and footage with it already. I've had it for a year, but so there's a few people out on the headland. You get a lot of tourists out here looking at the kangaroos and things, but generally during the week like this is it's Friday and it's sort of midday or 1:45 in the afternoon. It's fairly overcast. Oh, I can see a couple of white-bellied sea eagles circling up there already. Excellent. However, they look like they're riding a thermal way up there, so they might not be good for photos, but we'll see how we go. Let's find a park here somewhere. And that will do us. Let's see what we can find. This is what you see when you first walk out onto the headlands. That's Mooney Beach to the south. And then you have this beautiful expanse of water and the grassland there, and there are some kangaroos sleeping up the top there in amongst the bushes, and there's a couple of magpie larks just flying away there. It's a really peaceful place. The moment, excuse my fingers, the moment I step out here, I just feel at peace, and I just absolutely love being here. So let's see if we can find some osprey or something. And you have this little seat here to sit on, just look out over the surf. There's a couple of memorials here for people that have died. I'm not sure if they died surfing here or, but and there's a boat going past out there. Down there on the rock in the centre of frame are a couple of Sooty Oystercatchers. They're just hanging out down there on the rock. They're like an all black bird with a brilliant reddish orange bill and the strangest feet you've ever seen. They have human-like fingernails, toenails I should say, as you can see in this photo. So I just got a bit closer to these Sooty Oystercatchers. I'll just zoom in a smidge. And there's also one down here that let out a warning call when I showed up. This is foraging down there on the rocks. So sometimes I'll see osprey perched on that cliff in the centre of frame there now, but not today. And further around the headland as well, there are spots where they sit. Here's a pied cormorant flying past. They're not the prettiest birds, but I like to photograph them. They've got a long snake-like neck and they can really bend it back in unnatural ways to preen themselves, and helps them to catch fish, I guess, too. So you can see there's no handrail here or anything like that. In Victoria, where I used to live, they're sort of super, it's a bit of a bubble wrap society, and they protect everything. So, but here you can just wander around on the cliff edge at your own peril. And I have to remember how old I am, because I'm not as nimble as I used to be, because I've let my fitness go a little bit. I'm starting to exercise a bit more now and sort of get a lot more strength and flexibility. But I do have to remember, especially carrying this heavy lens and camera, together it weighs about, I think it's about 2 to 3 kilograms. So if I'm carrying it on the cliffside, I have to be careful it doesn't pull me over half balance. So just a bit further there, over that mound, is where I'll normally see osprey on the left hand side over the cliff. So we'll head that way and see if we can find them. Oh, look at this. I don't know if you can see it just yet, but on that little rocky outcrop in the center of frame there is the osprey. That's his usual spot where he will sit, and he can see, he or she, I'm not really sure how to tell the difference. I think the females are bigger, males are smaller. This one's fairly small, so maybe it's a male. So he can see from there down to the water with his awesome osprey eyes and see what fish are available down there. I'll get us a little bit closer. Here we go. I got a little bit closer. It's really, I mean, I had to clamber down that to get here. So it's pretty wild today. There's a lot of spray going around. There he is. Can't really get any closer without too much danger to myself. So, osprey, just what I was aiming for today, so happy. I'll get a couple of shots. So you can see my camera settings there. I've got my, because it's a very gloomy day, I've got my ISO set to 1600. My aperture I like to leave at f8 because it's sharper, and I'm at 1/2000th of a second shutter speed at the moment. So if I point that towards the bird-ish, you'll see I'm underexposing a little bit, but it should be okay. I'll take a couple of shots and we'll see how they come out. So there you go. Got a few shots of him sort of looking this way. Now you can see, I'll just change the display so you can see my histogram here. So that's, you can see the this bit flashing here, that's overexposed highlights. On days like today when it's gloomy, I prefer to overexpose rather than underexpose, because if you underexpose, by the time you bring back detail in your shadows in post, it starts to get very noisy. So I overexpose, and it's a lot easier to bring back detail in the highlights because I'm shooting raw image quality. Always shoot raw image quality, people. Don't shoot JPEGs. You cannot edit them as much, you don't have as much editing freedom with them as you do with raw files. So I'll let you see this view. There goes, oh, that's a little tern flying past there, I think. Zoom in. No, it didn't zoom in. I'm sure that was a little tern. So you have pretty much nothing but ocean until that is South Solitary Island. There's a lighthouse out there. Every now and then they run helicopter flights out to the island. And my wife bought me one for my birthday last year or the year before. And that was a really great day. It was absolutely awesome to fly out there and look back at Coffs Harbour and look this way towards our home. It was really fantastic. So So we'll just go, I'm going to clamber back up this cliff, and I'll take you a bit further around the headland and show you where the cormorants perch. Hopefully they're there today. They usually are, so we'll have a look at them and then might head home or head somewhere else. Let's see what happens. Hopefully I can do this without hurting myself. So there's the cormorants in front of me. Sometimes they'll sit on that rock there or on that one there in the center of frame. So today we've got, looks like maybe a dozen pied cormorants and one little pied cormorant on the left there, the black one. Well, that was successful. Happy to find an osprey, and of course the cormorants are pretty much always there, so that was a given. But yeah, real happy. So I'm going to go home and I'll edit those photos and put them, sorry if that messed up the audio, I'll put them in the video for you as well, and whew, maybe get myself a drink of water, because for some reason the lid of my water bottle won't open anymore. It's screwing, but not screwing off, and I'm so thirsty. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and you know, all that other stuff that I'm supposed to say. And if you're a subscriber of mine and you enjoyed this video because it's something a little bit different for me, let me know, because I'm going to do more of this in the future. So I'll see you next time.